Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tossup video part 1. For this time around we have Maine, New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania and Rhode Island, and we're doing all the Tossup races today for these 5 states. We have Maine governor, so Janet Mills against Paul LePage. Currently Mills is leading by about 9 in the aggregate. Thing is, GOP governors are underestimated by about 2 points on aggregate. Furthermore, we also see that due to the mail-in of the ranked choice voting system, polling has become very inaccurate in the state of Maine, and this is a bad indicator for how polling is going to go in Alaska further on down the line. So we have Baldacci in 2006 overestimated by 2 points, Paul LePage overestimated by 9 in 2010, then he was underestimated by 5, and then Mills was spot on in 2018. So on average we are about 2 points for the Republicans' underestimation. Furthermore, we have King, who is underestimated first time around, overestimated second time around. Collins, who is systematically underestimated, first by 5 and then by about 15. So you can already see what the kind of problem there is going to be. Mills, currently her approval rating is +2. Biden's approval is -9. This is for everyone, and that becomes -15 when you take into account independents only. There's no third-party challenger in this race, which means that the undecideds will probably going to break for Paul LePage in a 3-1 margin. And if we take all of this stuff into account, Mills moves from the +9 to +7 after the underestimation. Then it becomes +2 with the assigning of undecideds, and then because of the national environment, because it's moving from Democrats +7 to Republicans +4 this cycle around. I think Paul LePage is going to win by about 2 points. So polling in this particular cycle has been rather inaccurate, so I'm putting a 5% margin of error on that, which means that there is a 70% chance of Paul LePage winning. And I'll keep an eye on this race and I'll adjust where I need it, but for now I'm thinking Paul LePage is going to win. Maine's 2nd district, Jared Golden against Bruce Poliquin. Golden leading by 8 in the aggregate. Adjusting means it's going to be 6, and now with all the other stuff around it, I think it's going to be Bruce Poliquin +1, which gives him a 60% chance of victory, with a margin of error of 5% again. And we can see in the polling here that in 2012 there was no particular margin of polling that I could find. In 2014 Poliquin underestimated by 7 points, then he was underestimated by 8. Golden spot on, and then Golden overestimated by 14. So you can see that the Republicans here are systematically underestimated. State of New Hampshire. So Senate race. Hassan against Bolduc. Shaheen is overestimated by 1 point, then spot on, and then spot on again. Ayotte in 2010 was underestimated by 9, then overestimated by 1.5. So we can kind of see where the point is at. Hassan won by 1,000 votes in 2016. Polling is a little bit better in the state of New Hampshire. It's about a 4% margin of error. Currently, GOP is underestimated by 5 points over the past election cycle. So that means that Bolduc in aggregate has a +1.6. And I'm narrowing it down to a +1. So that is a 5 in 8 chance that Bolduc is going to win. or 62.5%. New Hampshire's first. Chris Pappas against Carolyn Levitt. So we can see that first the Democrats are underestimated by 5 points. Sorry, 6. Then the Republicans underestimated by 4. Then it's Democrats overestimated by 2.5 again. Then it's spot on. So we can see Pappas is leading by about 5 points. GOP is underestimated by 1.5, so it's Pappas plus 4. National Environment, they compensated a little bit. I think it's going to be about a 75% chance of Pappas winning. Annie Custer in the 2nd district. Polling is underestimating her in 2014. And for the rest it's overestimating her, so it's about 1.3%. Which leaves it at, in total, after adjusting for the national environment, comes Custer plus 4. So there's a 90% chance of victory. New York governorship. This one's going to be the hot take for this cycle. Biden approval is net 0 for everyone, and independents disapprove by 42% margin. And those independents will vote Republican. So what we see is Pataki for his 3rd term was spot on in the estimation. Elliot Spitzer was overestimated by 7 points. Cuomo was underestimated by 5, then overestimated by 8, and then underestimated by 6 again. So what we see, the aggregate has Hochul plus 6. After adjusting for the underestimations, become Hochul plus 5. And then with the independents, I think it's going to be Zeldin plus 1. So a 60% chance of victory for him. Pretty damn good. New York's 3rd, Robert Zinnemann against George Santos. I'm going to say it's there's not much for this district, except that Democrats overperform here, and it is basically an even with the polling and the move for the national environment. So I think it's going to be Zimmerman plus 1. That's pretty much on point. So 60% chance of victory. New York's 4th. This one is a little surprising for me, because we only have one poll, which has Despacito plus 12. Which I think is inaccurate. Democrats are overestimated here, and we don't have any information to go on. So the only thing I can say with the national environment and that kind of stuff moving around, and I can say plus 2. So there's a 2/3 chance that this seat flips. So the southern part of Nassau County. New York 17th. All polling has Michael Lawler up, so either by 6 or by 4. Yet for some reason 538 has Maloney up. I don't know why. I think we all do know why. So in 2012, Hayworth, his opponent, was up with by 10. So it's 30-point underestimation. Then it was spot on. And afterwards the polling started to get really off track, in which Maloney is systematically overestimated. I think it's a 2-point margin of victory for Michael Lawler. So that makes a 70% chance of victory. New York 18th, Pat Ryan. I think is going to hang on. Mainly because the district has moved significantly towards the Democrat side. And the polling hasn't been that bad in previous cycles. The only problem here is we have nothing to go on. So the only thing I can say is that the margin is going to be roughly the same. New York 19th, Josh Riley against Marcus Molinaro. This is basically a new district in which polling is awful. Riley in the polling that I've seen is leading by about 0.5%. That is basically taking everything into account. If I start adjusting for uh, sample sizes, that kind of stuff, then we'll see that Riley is slightly up by like 1.5. National environment adjustment, I think it's going to be Molinaro +2, so 70% chance of victory. The 22nd district, this is John Katko's district. Democrats are systematically overestimated here. And Williams is currently leading by 4 in the average. Adjusting it for the errors, it's going to be Williams +6, so I'm guaranteeing the victory of this man. So margin of victory 6%, error is 5%, so it's a 100% chance of him winning. Pennsylvania governorship. Republicans are underestimated systematically, and on average it's about 3.5%, something like that, with the previous elections all around. What this means is that adjusting the current polling aggregate, it becomes Shapiro +3 with RCP, and for me it becomes Shapiro +2, and I'm leaving it at that. So 70% chance of Josh Shapiro winning the governorship. Senate race. On the other hand, we have Fetterman leading by 0.3 in the aggregate as of right now. After adjusting for underestimations, Oz is leading by 3%. So that means there's an 80% chance of Mehmet Oz winning the Senate seat. Pennsylvania 7th, Susan Wild against Lisa Scheller. This is a rematch. Polling is horrible in this particular region, and it systematically overestimates Democrats. So now we have Scheller leading by 1.5 in the aggregate, and simply put, I think it's going to be a little more than that. I think she's going to win by about 4, so that means there's a 90% chance of victory. Pennsylvania's 8th, we have Matt Cartwright, who is also systematically overestimated, and with that I think it's about 4 points. Note to say that Pennsylvania disapproves of Biden by 18 points for everyone, and it's -30 for independents. So pretty much everyone's going to vote against the Democrats in this particular state, which means that Jim Bonnier, he's going to win, and I think it's going to be about 2 points, so that's a 70% chance of victory. Pennsylvania 17th, Christopher DeLuzio against Jeremy Schaefer. Polling has that as a tie, and with the unpopularity of Joe Biden, I think it's going to be a 3-point victory of Jeremy Schaefer, so 80% chance of victory. And the final one for today, Rhode Island 2nd, Seth Magaziner against Alan Fung. The margin of victory is systematically decreasing in the state of Rhode Island for the Democrats, particularly in this district. Biden has a positive approval in this state of 8 points, and independents disapprove of him of 15. Looking at the previous statewide elections regarding the cabinet, Magaziner is garnering less support than all his other colleagues, and it is about 5 points statewide. And because this is the Western District, which is a lot more Republican leaning, I think he's not going to win. Polling currently has Alan Fung up by 7 in the real polling. I think it's going to be a little less than that. I think it's going to be about 4 points, which means that Alan Fung has a 90% chance of victory. This concludes part 1. Thank you very much for watching. I'll try to have the rest uploaded next week around. It's going to be a little difficult. I have some personal shit I need to attend to. So it's going to be a little difficult on my behalf. Apologize for that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.